Dude, come on. We're gonna be late. Chill. Our first reservation isn't for another hour. Lance lifted his cup to his lips, taking a shallow sip of his drink and wincing a little as if it hits his tongue. Still a little too warm. He stood with one hand on his hip on the hillside that sloped down to the small beach. He could hear Hunk shift his weight from foot to foot, gravel crunching beneath his weight, as he made an uncertain sound in the back of his throat, bordering on a whine. I guess, but you know Pidge is already there, and you know how she gets without her coffee. We'll get her coffee. Yeah, but if it's cold, she won't drink it. It'll be alright, Lance said, waving a hand at Hunk to brush off his worries. He spared a glance for his friend, seeing the mildly dubious expression on his face, but at his smile, Hunk sighed, shaking his head. Alright, but if her coffee is cold, I'm blaming you, and you're the one who has to be on the boat with her. Fair enough. He looked back out to the lake, waving out a hand to gesture to the water. Look at them out there, Hunk. Tons of beautiful athletes with beautiful athlete bodies wrapped up in the tight wetsuits that leave nothing to the imagination but a hand back on his hip, sipping his drink and laying out a contented sigh. I could get used to this. They were standing near the docks and beachside that would serve as the official race start. The race wasn't until the weekend, but at least had already started to pour into town. And this morning, several of them were dressed in their wetsuits, testing out the lake with short swims. Most of them are way older than us, dude, Hunk said, coming to stand next to him. Psst, details, Lance said, waving off. There's probably plenty around our age. I mean, yeah, but those age groups are significantly smaller. These races usually fill with middle-aged people, at least in their 30s, not a lot of 20-somethings. How would you know? Hunk shrugged. I googled it when Pidge told us the race was gonna be in town. I was curious. There's gonna be some of them around our age. I mean, look at... Okay, maybe not her. What about... Nope. Okay, but that one... never mind. They just turn around and they definitely have wrinkles. Lance's face scrunched up in the pout, shoulders slumping. Huh. This is actually pretty difficult when they're all wearing sweatsuits and swim caps. Hunk nudged him with his elbow. Weren't you a swimmer, dude? Shouldn't this be easy? He said with a small grin. Lance shoved him back. Not the big guy moved much. Come on! It's hard to tell from this distance. His eyes roamed over the waterfront, searching through the bodies that were bobbing in the deeper waters and wading through the shallows. His eyes landed on the one man, huge and broad-shouldered, with a broad chest and slimmer hips. Legs unfortunately disappearing as he waded into the water. There seemed to be something off about his right arm, but he dove into the water before Lance could easily get a good look at it. A shame, really. He would have liked to stare at that one a little more. His gaze drifted to the person he had been standing next to the moment before, and hello there, Lance purred, eyes raking up and down to his slim figure. His shoulders made without being too broad. Nice arms, lean but well-built figure, slim waist, tight ass. All that definition being hugged by the second skin of their wetsuit, putting it all on display. They stood in the shadows, waves lapping against their waists, hiding and revealing their ass in a way that made Lance ache to see more. They had a great body, yeah, but so did most of the other athletes, Lance had seen. What made them stand out was the fact that, for one, they weren't wearing a swim cap. Their hair was dark and pulled back into a small and messy ponytail, and for two, they weren't moving. Everyone else was wading through the water, paddling around or swimming out some of the buoys. At the very least, they were treading water, but not this one. This one was just standing there, arms spread out so their hands barely brushed the top of the water, staring out into the lake. Lance had the sudden urge to see their face, insanely curious about the expression he might find there. Hello, who? Hunk asked, leaning down over Lance's shoulder and interrupting his obvious googling. That one, Lance said, leaning into his friend and wrapping an arm around his shoulders while he used this other hand to point. He felt his lips curving onto a smile. That one, right there, just standing in the water. They have to be around our age. I just know it. And they're damn fine, too. Hunk leaned forward a fraction, eyes squinting slightly as he took in the person Lance pointed at. Are they a boy or a girl? Lance raised an eyebrow, glancing sideways at Hunk. Does it matter? Hunk hummed awfully, making a face that Lance vaguely recognized as guilty. I guess not. He strained it, raising his hand, and both coffee cups he held in surrender. My bad, dude. Lance grinned, patting his shoulder. No problem, buddy. It happens. You're learning, and that's what matters. He tilted his chin, gazing up at Hunk as he felt his smile turn mischievous. Point is, that's a damn fine specimen. Hunk roared. Lance, please don't. And they deserve to know it. Oh my god, Lance! It was too late. Lance had already stepped away from him, lifting his fingers to his mouth and using them to make a loud, sharp wolf whistle. He heard Hunk groan again, and he saw him hide behind the coffee cups out of the corner of his eye. Several people turned to look, but he ignored them, keeping his gaze fixed on the person standing in the water. Then they turned around, thick brows furrowed and lips pursed into a small frown. Alright, so dude. Probably? Maybe. Either way, Lance could roll with it. They looked around, hands lifting to idly tighten their ponytail. Hey, beautiful, Lance called, waving his free hand, an easy grin on his lips. There was a good distance between them, too far for him to really make out any of their features, but close enough that he could see the confusion and surprise as their heads snapped to look at him. At least he assumed they were looking at him. Hard to tell. Then they turned their head, looking around. Lance chuckled. You, with the ponytail, he called, causing their head to snap toward him once more. You could see them frown. It was, in a way, their shoulders tense and hunched, in a way, their features pinched, dramatic enough to be seen at a distance. Hastily, when enough uncertainty to adorable, they lifted a hand and pointed to their chest. Lance grinned. Yeah, I'm talking to you, beautiful. If you need help taking that sweatsuit off later, I'm available. They rolled their eyes, and while Lance couldn't exactly see their eyes, they did it with enough flair that it seemed to rock their whole body. He's seen it enough from pitch to know exactly what it looked like. They turned then, wading deeper into the water with enough determined force to give him the impression of stomping. Despite the icy water, as they went, they flipped him off over their shoulder. Lance grinned only one as he chuckled, muttering under his breath, feisty. Not your best, dude, Hunk said, stepping up beside him. Lance grinned face into a pout. What? I thought it was pretty good. Hunk just shook his head, a small smile on his lips as he gestured to water with a coffee cup. The results speak for themselves. Everyone's a critic, he grumbled. Hunk did his best to awkwardly pat him on the shoulder with his elbow. Come on, let's get to the boat before Pitch crashes from caffeine deprivation. Lance sighed. Yeah, alright. As he followed Hunk back toward the sidewalk, he spared a glance over his shoulder. There were several swimmers headed along the buoy line, but his eyes zeroed in one that he was pretty sure. There were several swimmers headed along the buoy line, but his eyes zeroed in on one that he was pretty sure was Ponytail. It's hard to tell from this distance, but there was something in the way they swam, a fire and a determination that forced themselves through the water, that drew in Lance's attention. Beautiful while stoic and still, gorgeous and strong while in motion. Yeah, Lance could roll with that.